following is a production of TeamBoydTV.com.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Vernie B, one half of the dynamic duo of Team Boyd TV, Game Time, and I am here with the power rankings for this week. So after week 9, what have we learned? Is there any movement? We'll see. But before we get started, let me let you know you can get at me at Vernie B 73 on Twitter if you want to see your team in a different slot or you want to disagree with my number system. Let me know and tell me why. Okay, so let's jump right into it. At number 32, at 0-8, I have the Raiders. They put up a good fight against those Seahawks, but couldn't get the win. And unfortunately, up next for them is Denver, coming off of a bad loss. At 31, 1-8 is the Jaguars. This is their third straight season starting at 1-8. That is bad. And I think they might as well start looking at their draft pick. They'll probably get that number 2 overall. At number 30, we have the Bucs, who are 1-7. Tampa lost to the Browns, which is the first time since 1995. I feel sorry for Lovey, but there's a quarterback problem there in Tampa. At number 29, I have the Jets. They look absolutely no better with Michael Vick. There's just no talent on that team. At number 28, I have the Titans. They're 2-6. They actually are the league's worst on third down conversions. It's 29.5% of the time. If you can't stay on the field, you can't score any points. At number 27, I have the Redskins. They dropped four from 23. RG3 returned. He was sacked 5 times in this game. I think somebody's asking where Colt McCoy is. At number 26, I have the Falcons. 2 divisional games coming up, and it's their chance to save the season. Starts with winning these 2 games. They have the Bucs first, and then the Panthers. If they want any hope of seeing some postseason games, they got to start by winning these 2 right here. At number 25, it breaks my heart that they have dropped 5 from 20, my New York Giants. They look horrible. There's no running game. There's no deep threat. This season, Eli is 3-24. Only one in the league worse than Eli on the deep threat? Geno Smith. At number 24, up 2 from 26, I have the Vikings. They possibly will get AB back, and they're almost at 500. So there might be some hope for them. And Chicago, in that division, Chicago is not looking good, but they have to worry about the Lions and Green Bay. Number 23, I have the Rams. They're up 2 from 25. They won in dramatic defensive fashion against those Niners. And they sacked Colin Kaepernick 8 times. So the only way to finish that game was on a defensive stop. Way to go, Rams. At 22, I have the Panthers. They dropped 4 from number 18. I know Panther Nation is going to hate this, but that team is looking bad, and there's no offense to speak of. At number 21, I have the Bears. They have Green Bay coming up, and I'm sorry, Bear fans, but Jay Cutler has never won in Green Bay, and he won't win this week either. At number 20, I have the Texans. They're up 2 from 22. That loss to Philly was expected since they're 1-3 against NFC teams. Coming in at number 19, I have the Browns. Hoyer's deep ball percentage is actually 5th best in the league at 51.4. So 20 yards or more, he is 5th best in the league. That's pretty good. At number 18, I have the Bills. Even though they beat the Jets, and barely beat the Vikings. The magic stops this week when Kansas City comes into town. As a matter of fact, I have them down 2 from number 16. At the 17th spot, I have the most dramatic drop for me this week. I have the Chargers, who are 5-4. They dropped 12 spots from number 5. I just totally wiped them out with that debacle against Miami. That was just ridiculous. Philip Rivers, 3 interceptions in that game. At number 16, I have the 49ers. They're 4-4, and they're down 4 this week from the number 12 spot. The failed quarterback sneak, it was a mess, and the defense just doesn't look the same. Patrick Willis was not in the game, and you can tell that they are missing him bad. At number 15, 4-4, I have the Saints. They're up 6 from the 21 spot, and I think they're starting to get a roll. The wins over Green Bay and Carolina, they are clearly leading the NFC South. At number 14, I have Miami. They're up 3 from 17. Whoa! They stunned the Chargers. And that was their first shutout in 123 games. But the Chargers have lost the last 5 times they've gone to Miami. So I guess it should have been expected. At the 13th spot, I have the Ravens, who are 5-4. Flacco struggled against that blitz of Pittsburgh. But next up is Tennessee. So I expect Flacco to get right back to it. At the number 12 spot, I have the Bengals. They're up 1 from number 13. Against Jacksonville, Jeremy Hill had 154 rushing yards and 2 TDs. At the 11th spot, I have the Super Bowl champ Seahawks. They had to fight to beat Oakland, but they host the Giants next week. Please, no blowout, G-men. Okay, so it's real deal time, because now we're moving into the top 10. So my number 10 spot is the Chiefs. Alex Smith has had 10 touchdowns and 1 interception in his last 7 games. Solid quarterback. The number 9 spot, I have the Steelers, who are magically now 6-3, up 6 from number 15. These performances came out of nowhere. Big Ben with back-to-back 6 TD games, and that Antonio Brown is a force. At number 8, I have the Lions. Coming off the bye, they will have to deal with a pumped-up Miami team that just destroyed the Chargers. Excuse me. At number 7, I have the Cowboys, who are 6-3. They're down 3 from number 4. No Romo, big problems. They need to go back to making sure that DeMarco Murray is having 100 yards per game. At number 6, I have Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers. He's playing well enough to make sure that this team is winning. In his last meeting against the Bears, he lost at home with the backup quarterback playing. So I'm sure he's ready for a little bit of revenge. Now, as we move into the top 5, I consider these teams playoff bound. So, number 5, I've got the Colts. They're up 3 from number 8. Andrew Luck against my G-Men. 354 yards and 4 TDs. Ouch. At the number 4 spot, I have the Eagles. They're down 1 from the number 3 spot because we saw Mark Sanchez sighting. Not sure how much I trust Mark Sanchez. 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions as well. My number 3 spot, I'm sure will surprise some, but I have the Patriots. They're up 4 from number 7. Their performance Sunday was awesome, but I'm just not ready to drink the Kool-Aid yet. Number 2, I have the Broncos, down 1 while they lost to the Patriots and it exposed some weaknesses that they have, I know the sheriff, Peyton Manning, will address it. My number one spot, I have the Cardinals. They're up one from the number 2 spot. Their defense looks great. And oh, by the way, Carson Palmer, Drew Stanton, it doesn't matter. These boys are getting it in. They're coming out of that division. And they are my Super Bowl pick. All right. I know, shocker, right? Well, that's this week's Power Rankings. I'll be back next week, see what kind of movement we make. And in the meantime, happy football. Peace.